some reason. Is it showing me live? It's not showing me on the air for some reason. There it is. All right,
Oh,
there we
it
go.
just said that you went live. I just got a notification. So we're live. Are we live?
We are live.
We are live, and welcome to all those listening around the world at the SML Chalk Talk show here on March 29th. I am joined by the co-host, the often imitated but never duplicated.
Still there? You blacked out on me, man.
Oh, you can't hear me?
I can hear you now.
Uh-oh.
There you go. There you go. You're back.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Just wanted to say, how in the hell are you? Our I don't even know what number show we're up to, but we're in the almost the midway point of season 5, 2020. How in the hell are?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Struggling through
Mm-hmm.
another trial and season in the SML.
Yeah, yep. I know the feeling. I know the feeling. We are we are we are in a good place. A lot of activity. The league is going well, and as I've always said, we appreciate what you do. I know you get a lot of grief, but we appreciate all that you do to make all this possible. Um, we got a good show ahead of you. We actually have some guests. We're going to be joined by the GM and owner and coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Mind and Mind, will be our host. And on next week's show, we will have uh, the season 3 champion Ratchet joining the show for the next Chalk Talk. So some good guests coming up.
It's gonna be interesting just to hear Ratchet's voice. I don't know what I picture his voice to be like.
I've heard him. I've heard him on. I think he had his mic on once by mistake, and he was talking to one of his friends. But yeah, you're right. I am curious to hear what XX Ratchet 1994 sounds like. And they got to put
Yeah.
bro on the end of that, right? You know what I mean, bro?
Yep. Yep. But
So
yeah.
what are your impressions thus far at the fifth? We're at week 5. What are your let's do kind of early impressions of the season thus far. I mean, what's kind of standing out in your mind?
Uh, I mean, it's kind of been it's kind of early to say. I don't really have that many impressions. What I do have is, one thing I've noticed is, uh, Squirrelbird loves to talk up Ginger and the Ravens, and the
Yeah,
Ravens
yeah.
have been off to a pretty good start with their quarterback. What's his name? Foley.
Hmm, hmm.
They're at 3-1, and I think they've had some quality wins. They beat the Titans. They beat the Browns, I want to say.
Hmm.
Um, and they've been putting up points, man. And they had but as we always say when we're talking about whether we buy somebody or not, that first big test he had against the Redskins, he went out there and threw up like
Uh-huh.
5 interceptions.
Uh-huh.
So I
Uh-huh.
don't know, but I mean the Ravens have started pretty quickly. But other than that, man, it's been pretty much the oh, he beat the Texans also, but the Texans have started kind of slow.
Mhm.
But they started pretty fast. Loco started pretty well. But everything else seems to be business as usual for the most part.
Well, one of the surprises, Monk, and it really shouldn't be a surprise because he is a quality coach, and that's the Dallas Cowboys that are undefeated over in the
Oh
NFC East.
yeah, sorry, sober.
Yeah, yeah, the Dallas Cowboys, and the reason I want to bring them up is because last season they had a very bad season. They had about 7 or 8 first round picks. I think they traded a couple on draft day, but they drafted a lot of talent, and it looks like they've got their quarterback, and they've turned it around to the point where I think they were just knowing that they're better than this, and they got this guy Caleb. I forget his name. Caleb. Let me just look him up real quick. Their quarterback.
Caleb,
Pull him
I'm
up.
pulling him up too.
Yeah, this guy is. I know his first name is Caleb.
Caleb
Uh,
Linecold.
yeah, Lenico out of Florida State, and so this guy has been playing some good ball. He still has Zeke. He managed to get Des Bryant back, I believe, after he cut him and or didn't re-sign him, and he brought him back. I think he re-signed him as a free agent,
They let him go
and
out
he's
there and test
beaten.
the market, and
Yeah,
there was no market. So
yeah. But he's got some games, and was still more to see. But he beat Frisco, he beat the Giants, and I think he beat Cincinnati, and then he just recently beat the Saints. So I'm not sure if those are um, quality wins per se. I mean, the Giants are a good team. 49ers are up and coming. Cincinnati is up and down, and New Orleans was playing well up until that point. So,
yeah, he
um,
there's a good game this week between the Cowboys and the Vikings, both teams who were down a bit
mhm,
last season, and this season they
yeah,
are both undefeated. So that's going to be an early game that's going to be fun to watch.
yeah, and that was the other team I wanted to bring up, the Minnesota Vikings. Much in the media Vikings were much maligned by the owner over in Green Bay, but they've again turned it around. And so we got some new teams that we didn't see in the picture emerging here in season five, which I think is a good thing.
Oh, it's always
So
good to
that's
see some turnover, man. Um,
yeah.
but the division leaders outside of those two teams that you named, otherwise
Hmm.
largely seem to be pretty much the old guard. So we'll see
Um,
how it shakes out.
so any concerns with the cap, the non-cap year? I know there was a sort of a calculation
Yeah.
error
Well,
trying to
let's talk
adjust.
about the cap error. So this was all Tide's fault. All right, Tide, the Jets
Uh,
owner, it's
right.
all his fault.
Hmm.
Tide decided he wanted to go out of town. Tide decided he wanted to shake up his roster and trade for
Hmm.
Andrew Luck, who makes $28 million a year. And
Hmm.
Tide did not know that. Well, actually, I'm gonna stop joking. It's actually not Tide's fault, but it's kind of Tide's fault. So he he
Hmm.
traded for Luck, $28 million salary. He did not have the cap room to absorb Luck's contract, and he he hired me as his substitute GM to decide who needed to be cut so that he could make room for Andrew Luck on his team. Because the rule in the SML is if you make a trade and you didn't look at your cap situation, your SOL, you got to cut the players to make it work. So
Hmm.
he traded, I believe he traded a first rounder for Andrew Luck, and the draft was coming up, and he was going to be out of town. So I go into his team. I meet with his players and looking at their contracts, and I'm like, okay, who can I cut to free up? I think it was maybe $10 million, and it became
Hmm.
immediately apparent that there was no one I could cut that was, everybody has some people on their team that they can cut, just get rid of this guy. Well, it came down to, for him, I was going to have to cut somebody like good. Like it came down to Allen Robinson or
Hmm.
three players who I believe were starters. And I was like, all right, I'm not making this decision for him. So my genius idea was and Renegade needed the pick because the draft was coming up. So my genius
Hmm.
idea was I'm going to cut off the cap. I'm going to trade for Luck. Then I'm gonna cut it back on, and then I'm gonna make the Jets get below the cap when they get back. Well, the part of my plan that was not taken into account is there's this big disclaimer under the cap switch that says if you cut this shit off, you can't cut it back on. So I kind of didn't read that
Uh,
until after I cut it off,
uh,
and I went back to cut it on, and I was like, oh fuck. So
uh,
now we are in a perpetual state of no cap. And what that is
uh,
going to do is, well, no, it'll do two things, and I think these things kind of will counterbalance each other, at least for this season, and then after this, it'll just kind of be up to what people want to deal with. But the thing that it will do is, I think it should ultimately help the trade market because people can trade whoever the hell they want to trade, and they don't have to worry about the cap consequences. But what is going to kill is free agency because no one is going to let somebody walk who is
Right.
good on their teams if there's no cap, unless they're just being assholes and don't want to offer him any money, and the dude just rejects the contract. So free
Hmm.
agency is pretty much dead, but there should be a healthy trade market as a result of this.
Well, I believe it worked out pretty well for Tide because Andrew Luck is leading the league in yards passed with about 14, 18 as we look here at my trusty statistics sheet, and he's playing good ball. Completion percentage is up around 60, and we heard him. If you ever listen to a Tide game, it's very entertaining. I think if anything for next season, if we could get people to turn their mics on, I think the entertainment value would be through the charts because you get to hear what's going on and the cursing and the get the out of here. You get to hear all of that and
Yeah,
very animated for Tide. So I think he's happy that the Luck deal went through. I heard him say, "I finally got a quarterback." So you can see the importance of having one.
yeah.
Speaking of that, I
Go
wanted.
ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
speaking of that. I wanted to, after you give your thought, I wanted to talk about the Indianapolis Colts because they did give up Andrew Luck and they got a guy by the name of Willie Beeman. Wanted to talk about that after this thought.
okay. Yeah, I mean, he does have a quarterback. I was about to say that he I mean, Luck, he should be able to. He's already shown some improvement with Luck. But then you also got. I also noticed since we're talking about quarterbacks that Blake Bortles moved on from the Jags over to the Titans, and he's playing pretty good ball at Tennessee too. But we can go and talk. We need to talk about the Colts because they won the Super Bowl, and we haven't had a show since they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I did want to talk about them and give a big congratulations to Renegade DEPP on his triumphant win over the Carolina Panthers. I don't know if we actually saw the game, the AFC Championship game that got him there, where he
No,
trounced the Dolphins. But yeah, much well deserved. He took I mean, I believe he had like the 26th pick. I mean, he had a late pick. And to turn them into a champion is much to be said about that.
yeah,
So,
the Colts. I mean, they had a quarterback. We all know that, and they had some
mhm,
solid receivers, but the rest of that team was pretty desolate.
mhm,
And he took like I'm not saying they're the worst team in the game because clearly they weren't. Like you talk about these teams that are really bad, they didn't have anything, or they definitely didn't have a quarterback, and they were kind of shallow at positions where it's tough to get players. But Renegade built that team in two ways that a lot of people normally don't build teams. Way number one is building up his own players that he already had, and way number two is drafting players. Like he's not one of those guys who's out there on the
mhm,
trade market shifting his whole roster over.
mhm,
That team was built, like a lot of like they do in real life. A lot of teams
mhm.
build in real life is through the draft and building your own personnel. So I know people are tired of hearing the name T.J. Green and Stabling and his running back who Conrad, who I've heard is very very disgruntled in Indianapolis right now because whatever this new post Super Bowl offense they have does not give him any carries. Have you noticed that? Like this dude
I
has
do. I
four
do. He's got
carries. He
70.
has four carries this year.
I think his quarterback has more rushing yard. I'm sorry, more rushing attempts
Yeah,
than
so
Marquise Conrad.
this
Yeah,
this
yeah.
guy is clearly like won his championship on the back of Conrad and just basically said, "Okay, dude, we'll need you more." But yeah, I mean, he built his team. He built his team through the draft without trades, and it was not a good team. So hats off to Renegade for winning. I know he gets a
Hmm.
lot of flack from certain people, but much respect, much respect.
We did get a new owner into the league, taking over ownership of the London Monarchs for the final season. I think is it Slick? I think is
Slick
that
Rick.
is it Slick Rick? And have we heard anything coming out of London about how they feel about the game, what they're doing? I know it's all new to him. He did mention he hadn't played in a while, and so this is just an adjustment. Any media coming out of London that you know
They're
of?
struggling to adjust to the speed of the league.
Mm,
I expected this to happen. He's played some. Now, what I will say is he's played some games that were pretty tight, but he's struggling pretty badly on offense. And just to give some background on Slick Rick, this is my boy that I've known since like the fifth grade. And back
Oh
when I
man.
first started playing football games, we used to go over each other's houses and battle. And I'm talking about old school. Like you probably don't even remember this. Bill Walsh football on Sega Genesis.
Oh no, Bill
We used to
Walsh.
ball. We used to play in that game. He used to run with Nebraska, I
No.
think, and I used to run with that Notre Dame team with Rocket Ismail and Tony Rice and all those guys. And
Wow.
we played all throughout high school. He actually played for. He was the quarterback at my high school when we were in high school. So he actually played football. So he's got the knowledge, but I was talking to him one day, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I probably played way too much offline franchise than I should be doing. I should probably be doing something else." And I was like, "Hey, I got this league. Why don't you join?" And he's like, "All right, cool." So he,
Yeah.
as far as I know to this point, he is not discouraged. With some
Hmm.
time, I think he'll be able to turn around. But as you know, the adjustment period to jump in the SML is not something that happens overnight.
No, no, it is not. And I'm glad he was available to take over for the Monarchs that moved from Tampa. We didn't know if there was a way to actually turn your team back into Tampa. I don't know if he had any
Yeah,
feelings about
he's stuck in
that,
London.
but he's stuck.
But
He's stuck.
I do want to take this opportunity to say that um, a lot of people were like, "Well, why are you getting this guy? He's probably not going to be good," and that's true. He's not going to be good starting out. But a good league
Mm,
is a balance, I believe, of people like this
mm,
guy and
mm,
like mine, the Jags owner, who may not be that
mm,
good right now. They may never be good, but the fact that they're active, the fact they play their
yeah,
games, and the fact that they want to be good, it's good to
yeah,
have people like that, and it's good to have really good players too. But I'd take a player like this over a player who's really good, who quits all the
yeah.
time or half plays like some other guys we've had. I'll take a guy like this over those guys any day.
Yeah, yeah, that's a show in it of itself. The whole recruiting process and getting quality guys into the league. It's going to be interesting for Madden 18 and on I guess the available slots because I'm going to guess the popularity is going to increase. We've had some folks that have left that are probably going to want to come back, and obviously the guys who stuck it out for the full 5 seasons are definitely going to have a probably want to have a say and say, hey, I made it. Like guys like Sticky. I mean, we don't really even hear from him too much. He's not a guy that's active on the boards, but
He
Sticky
plays.
plays all his games. Yeah,
Yep.
he's not the most vocal person, but he's can be found. He actually almost left because he thought he wasn't being competitive enough, and
Yeah.
that.
Well, it'll be
So
interesting. It'll be interesting because you're gonna have a lot of these guys who've been in the league a lot of seasons who dropped out early, who are gonna be when we do the lottery this season. It's gonna be I'm gonna make sure to do it weighted and make sure that the people who played all 5 seasons are up there.
mm,
So you're gonna have a lot of these guys that played and quit coming in, and they're gonna be drafting late, and then it's gonna be the same situation. They're gonna get a team they don't necessarily like, whereas they're
yeah,
gonna be playing another league where they get a team that they like, and we're
yeah,
gonna be dealing with the same stuff. So hopefully, some of them will stick
mm,
it out next time around. But that's the way we're gonna do
mm,
things, man. You play all your seasons, you get
yeah,
priority.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree with that. I think that it keeps rewarding guys and even guys like Ginger Maggie, another new owner who's certainly been in the media quite a bit. I mean, I mean, we'll think about some of the shows and getting some of these guys on the show. I'd be curious to hear what they think, their philosophy. I mean, Ginger's having a good season, so it is good to see some new blood, as some might say. They call them bums, but these guys are working hard to bring a championship to their respective towns. Um, so as we mentioned, we're waiting for Mind in Mind. I think that game just ended against Tennessee with the Jacksonville Jaguars losing 41-12. I just got a report that Julio Jones Had a great day. I didn't.
And Julio
Um,
Jones. Julio
Julio Jones.
Jones. You know, we tried to get Julio to finish his career in Atlanta, but he was with a team that was just not talking reasonable offers to send him back home. So, and then, it only took a couple bad games for it to be determined that Julio was not going to work out in Washington. So now he is in
Hmm.
Tennessee, and he is
Hmm.
putting up old school Julio numbers. It looks like 5 for 150,
Yeah.
30-yard average, 2 TDs.
Hmm. Yeah, and Tennessee's another dangerous team. They got a veteran coach there with a lot of Madden experience, and anything is possible out of that South. The Colts were the winner of that division, but yeah, you're right. With Julio and the big sets that they're running, I'm curious to see how they incorporate him into the scheme, um, and see how they use him going forward because he had a big day today against.
If mine and mine is on your friends list, shoot him a party invite if you can, because I don't think he's on my friends
Okay,
list.
yeah, let me see if I can grab him now. Let's see.
While we're doing this, why don't you give us some insight on this recruiting process? If you're finding people on Facebook, I'm very, very curious about what your process is here.
So I go all over the web, Facebook, Reddit, and basically anybody saying that they're looking for a league, I'll grab their information and store it into this table with their age, where they're from, their availability. And then so when we're looking for new guys, I'll kind of prioritize that list and then I'll reach out to them and then speak to them to see what their availability is. I try to speak with them, learn a little bit about them before I bring them in, kind of do they, because a lot of people only want to play sim, and I have to discuss with them what sim means. It means something different to everybody. And so I kind of go over the rules. I impress upon them that quitting is not an option. And we kind of go through that. And if I have time, depending on how quickly we need that spot fill, I'll try to play a game with them, a little lab game. But that doesn't always happen because of, these things usually go really fast.
Gotcha. Well, it looks like we got our guest in here. Mind and mine, you there?
Oh, how can you hear us both?
Let's do a quick sound check to see if the crowd can hear us.
Yeah, let me see if we can hear everybody. Hold on. Mind in mind. Uh, Thanks for joining us. Let me just do a sound check here. We're asking the audience, can they hear us? And now they say they can. So welcome to the show. Welcome to
They can hear
Chalk
you,
Talk.
franchise. I don't know if they can hear mind and mine though.
Uh-oh. Speak
Hold on
up.
a second.
Mind in mind. Yeah, do a test. You you may have to do a setting on your there's a setting
Go ahead and
usually
walk him through
everybody
that if you
has.
can, franchise. He did. I tried to walk him through it earlier, but I'm not sure if just
Yeah,
he got
you have
everything.
to allow your audio to be heard in party chat. So there's a setting there. Let's kind of walk through that. All right, yeah, they're saying no, they can't hear you. So go to your settings. let's see, party. No, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go to the party that we're in. Yeah, and then over on the right, you'll see party settings. Go to party settings, and then over there, there's an option that says allow your voice. Uh, yeah, allow your voice to be shared, and then choose always, or you can allow for current party.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Okay, yeah, turn that on, and then I think that should do it.
All right, good deal.
So can you do another test? Can you hear him now? Can you
Yep,
guys
yep,
give
check,
us
check. SML, mind and mind on the mic. Can you
can
hear
you
me?
hear him?
Can you hear him now? Can you hear him now?
Yo, 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 can you hear me? Y'all go light on me tonight.
Oh,
Yep.
all of a
Yeah,
sudden
we're
now we
man.
can't
Look,
hear these
man, we're the good media over here, man.
guys. Yeah, this is. All right,
All
good.
right,
We
they
can
can
hear
hear
you.
him.
All
We're
right,
good.
great.
All right, everybody good?
Yep.
Yeah, we good. Killer moves in a minute, but just first, we got to butter you up and tell you how great we are how much we love you to have you in the league.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I understand the patriotism, the patronizing going on, all that good stuff. I
Yeah,
receive that.
yeah, yeah. So tell us, man, what were you doing prior to the SML before you got into this league? Because you had a quote that you said, I need this in my life. You wrote, and I kind of bookmarked it.
Yeah, yeah. For sure. Like I said, I've explained a few times. I mean, never really get into the connected franchise. Just pretty much done a lot of head to head online. I got a lot of friends that I play. We played, a lot of matches and whatnot. Uh,
Mm,
but when it came to, the franchise play, I definitely wanted a full league, something with absent of a lot of kids and,
mm.
you know,
Absent a
something
lot
where,
of kids.
got some, yeah,
I
they
think
got
we got a
some,
lot of kids. We got a lot of kids in that league.
nah,
They
nah,
may
nah,
be
that
old.
ain't,
They may be old,
yeah,
but they
yeah,
kids.
like, nah, I'm talking about,
Some might argue that one, but all right.
nah, I mean, I respect everybody on SML and everybody that I done, played with and, chatted up with so far, it's only a game,
Yeah.
so for far as consistency,
Mm,
being in it for now my third year, pretty much a core of what I've,
mm,
dealt with has been joy and pleasure to deal with. So, like,
yeah.
everything that SML is, man, this is what, like I said, I need this in my life. Like, this
Yeah.
help get past time
Yeah.
by, and this is what I like this.
Yeah. Good to hear, man. What part of the country are you in? What state are you in?
Yeah, North Carolina, Durham, Bull City.
Bull
All right.
City.
All right. Is that near
Yeah,
you, Monk? Is that
yeah,
near
man.
you?
I'm in Raleigh, so I'm right off of
Yeah.
I'm right at south of Raleigh in Apex Holly Springs area. So right around the
Okay.
corner, man.
Okay. Right
I'll make
around the
sure
corner.
next time we do something, man, we'll make sure we get you here because there's a bunch of
Hey,
us in the
man.
area.
I
So
don't
tell
mind
me
moving
this, man.
around.
What have you? My question for you is, what have you learned? I guess what's been the biggest adjustment switching from head to head to switching to a online franchise so far?
To really just giving more detail to the nuances of you know more in-depth features as far as uh, I guess okay, let's say for once, all right, overall, where you would hype up in the overall because he's 99 or whatever the case may be. You got somebody shout out to old Dade, Tim Man,
Mm,
Dade County. But he
mm,
showed me how somebody like a overall player can be a beast. And I
Right.
think y'all introduced me to the term bum beast. And I just saw how guys were using players not just based on overall, but based on certain skill sets
Yep.
to really maximize their offense and defense. So, it's certain things like putting people together, putting the team together, a scheme together that, you like working with. And I just never done all of that because it's all for me. Okay, the Chiefs are my team. I take a team like the Chiefs, and I just learn each player and maximize them on the field. But right here, you gotta actually kind of scope out some players, dealing with with the fact that you're dealing with some guys that's been tampered with on your team or whatnot. But the number one lesson I learned is you gotta have a quarterback. I mean, just like the real NFL, if you don't have a quarterback, it's gonna set you back.
Well,
And I
well,
took a
well,
lot.
speaking of quarterbacks, that's where we're going to go. So coach, talk to us
Yeah.
about moving away from Blake Bortles, and now I think your quarterback is Mitchell Trubisky. Talk about the
Yeah.
evolution
We
of
still
let
call
him.
him Mitch though.
You call him Mitch because he
Yeah.
wanted his name changed. We understand that. So talk
Yeah, you gotta
about
earn that.
yeah. So talk about the Blake Bortles trade. A lot of media buzz about letting him go when you took over the Jacksonville Jaguars from Criminal.
Yeah, so basically just playing with Blake Bortles online, and I just never really felt him. And I mean, hell, I felt like if I can play with Alex Smith, I can play with pretty much anybody, but Blake Bortles ain't gonna get it. And I think at that time as well, I didn't realize how much traits meant. So that's more the nuances, the details of franchise that you have to, one of the key components that you have to build on that I had no clue about. So had I learned that or knew that, I probably would have stuck with them and, built some of those traits out to kind of make them who I needed them to be. But I live with that. It was a bad move. I realized you got to have a quarterback.
Quarterbacks are pretty important. That was a move that's a move that people just never forget about. With that, number one, because it helped lead our man Ratchet
Oh yeah.
to a championship. But just also,
Saw that personally.
in your defense, though, man, what I will say is, Bortles. A lot of people thought Bortles was a lot better than he was on the game, which he was not. And then the other thing was, is he was also, when you traded him, he was also like the key time to develop him was the first two seasons when you weren't in the league when Criminal had him, because I think he started at 24 and then he was 25 that second season, which are the two seasons that you
Right.
get the most XP. So you had him at 26. So even if you had played really good with him, you wouldn't have had a lot of room to improve him from there. But I mean, what you downgraded to is where I think a lot of people were just like, all right, how are you gonna win with New Law and Phillip Rivers? But so
But
how do you
see,
like?
that's
Go ahead.
well, yeah, and see, Phillip Rivers really showed me how much throw power meant. I think just playing on again too, all Madden. I've only played very few games on all Madden, so I had to learn that was a big adjustment. But I learned about throw power dealing with Phillip Rivers because everything he would try to get downfield would just die. So, it was just certain things like that. And I knew and I realized I didn't have the team for that. Had I had a quarterback with a powerful arm, I probably could have, used my wideouts a little bit better. But, that's another
You know what,
lesson.
Monk? Monk, I think we make an assumption that if an owner has never played CC, connected franchise, that all of this information and, I guess knowledge is somehow they're going to know. And if they're not, you know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
that's an assumption. That's an
No.
assumption that we make because we've been doing it for so long.
Yeah, you got to think about
Right,
like
right.
coming from that ranked background, like you get to play with whatever team you want. So if you're like, a lot of people may have a, they find a team they like and they play with that same team the entire time. You don't have to think about your quarterback aging. You don't have to think about
Right.
you know what some other quarterback who doesn't have your quarterback's ratings are like none of that stuff. So I understand that, and I completely understand. The one thing you cannot have a clue about is regression. Like no one would think that. Okay, if I got this dude that's 26, I mean on Madden like a Madden or two ago, you wouldn't think that. Oh, I got this dude that's 26. I need to start thinking about what his backup plan is at 26. You know what I'm saying? You should be thinking, oh, I'm good with this dude for the rest of Madden. But for some reason,
Yeah.
That's
man, the regression of this game is harsh. It's so harsh, and that's something you're
Yeah.
not gonna learn just coming into a league.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think we just got a a note to the Twitter line that says if you user control someone, he becomes a 99 overall, no matter what the position.
Of course,
And that
of course,
huh.
that came from our reigning champion,
of
Yeah, that
course.
sounds familiar.
Renegade
That sounded very
DPP.
familiar.
Yeah, that's true. So, Coach, next question for me, and then I'll flip it over to Monk. Talk to us about the Jalen Ramsey trade. I know there's a lot of
Man.
yeah, yeah. This is chalk. This is talk chalk, man. We got to get at you about this.
Rapid
So,
fire hot
yeah,
seat.
talk to us
Good
about the
gracious.
Jalen Ramsey deal. I mean, that was was he a corner? Was it because he couldn't play safety? What was the problem?
Yes, yeah. Ramsey was definitely not a corner. He was definitely not a corner for me. I gave him ample opportunity. You know, a lot of that was probably on the learn, on the fly too. A lot of that was probably dealing with, hey, I got a bad quarterback, so I keep giving the damn ball away. So,
Right, right, right.
um,
Mhm.
he was a better fit at safety though. I mean, his he was up there in tackles or whatnot, but he didn't do what I needed him to do. I mean, I needed more pieces for my
Mhm.
team than what Jalen could do for my overall performance.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I had to try to go for the picks. I had to go for what was good for me.
Yeah, I
That's
understand.
the key.
Okay.
That's the key thing there, and the big thing, man. Like one thing that's key in this league is I want everybody to have that feeling that it's their team and they can do what they want to do with their team. But the flip side of that is when you trade somebody like that to somebody who people respect or somebody that's good, then that's really when the people get on your back about stuff and they're just like, I can't believe you gave this guy this
Yeah,
dude,
yeah,
like
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, it's all about fun and like you said. Like the big thing for you as a quarterback, you got a good quarterback, and I've noticed you've done some good things with this Trubisky kid since you got him. But yeah, I mean that it's just especially because it was the Redskins that got him. But I mean, looking at what Ramsey's done for the Redskins, he's got one pick, nothing else.
Well, just see, there we
One
go.
pick, five
And
deflections.
I mean, I did have that one season where I had 7 picks with him, but that was more because I was doing more usering with him. But I was getting my ass burnt up trying to use him all the time. When you don't need to really use a 90 plus overall player, you let him perform on his own, and he's not that player that everybody thinks he is. He's kind of in that Blake Bortles category where he's not really that dominant. And I mean, if you already got a ready-made team, hey, yeah, you need a Jalen Ramsey maybe, but for me, I needed way more as I could see.
Mhm. Yeah.
But
Now, now, Coach, now I know one of the enjoyment factors with the league is being able to make trades, and I know a lot of guys that they just love to trade. Whether it makes sense for their team or not, they just like, I want to make a trade. Now,
yeah,
would you classify yourself as a guy that just enjoys trading, or are you looking for a specific mix of players, and until you find it, you're gonna keep making moves?
yeah, this one right now, that's the game plan is to really learn as much and kind of soak in every little bit of whatever I can in this last season that seems like everybody's taking serious to kind of
Yes.
no, really. I mean, it's kind of really just to learn it all, and then to when Madden 18 come out, be prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah, be prepared to whoop up on Polo, Loco.
just pick
Yeah,
their division. So
yeah,
out of
just
So out of I mean, you play in the what is it, the AFC South? So you got Logo, Renegade, and you got H Town Swagger there. Who has been the toughest? You've had a lot of losses and some wins few and
woo,
far between. But
woo. Yeah, yeah.
who has been the toughest person you think you played? Like one person you played where you're just like, all right, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do with what this person is doing out here.
Oh, that's got to be old champ. Old champ got
Mhm.
that for sure.
Okay.
I can't stand his players. I hate them with
Right.
passion.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So he's got those guys built up. I like what he's done, and he's got a squad. Those receivers are crazy. That secondary is crazy. Those fake name players just I don't know where he downloaded them from, but he downloaded them somewhere. So, but
Yeah.
nah. Other than that though, I big shout out to Loco too. He bust my ass tonight.
Hmm.
So Loco, he backed all his words. He almost got his 42 that he called out. That guy there, he's okay. He's still fake. He,
Yeah, and then this
Yeah,
is what
Loco is
this is
not that
what's
fun to play. I can tell you all that 100%.
yeah, yeah, good game though, good game.
it's what I said, man. The attitude that you bring to the league is great, man. And like I said, and I was telling Monk, I think I found you on Facebook, if I
No
recall.
doubt.
Was that?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I thought that's how we met. And
Yeah, that was
Monk,
actually my first time getting out there on the Facebook, I guess, Madden join thing that worked.
yeah, there's a Madden join community out there on Facebook, so I'm a part
Okay.
of that. So I go all over for talent, and like I said, it's good to that we found you. My last question for me is Miles Jack. Um,
Why we gotta talk about Miles Jack? Hey, what is
I
this?
gotta go there. I gotta go there. I mean, this is this is chalk talk,
Good
and
gracious.
Miles Jack is not wearing a Jaguars jersey. Straight, if I recall, great speed and
Yeah.
a lot of hit power and block shed and
What is he doing for
tackling.
you though, Monk?
Hey
I ain't
man,
really
he's
checked him
got
out.
he's got two interceptions and two forced fumbles in 4 games, man. We're pleased. We're very
You,
pleased with Miles Jack right about now.
you got him at middle linebacker, right?
Yeah, he's I got him at second
Yeah.
middle linebacker in this 3-4, man. And
There
he's
you
good
go.
all around, man. That dude. The thing about
Yeah,
him, he's
he
not
is.
really great at one thing, but he's good at everything. Like you don't have to build up
Yeah,
his play recognition or his awareness or whatever, so you can put all that stuff on whatever you want to put it on. So he's gonna be all
right,
right.
right. Yeah, I did kind of build him up though, kind of with that quick trade. I think I had him in every training last year. So, um, but yeah, I had moved from outside to inside, and he did flourish.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
it's just we're
hey,
glad to have him.
good.
We're glad to have him.
All right,
Mhm.
that's what's up.
Okay. So, mind in mind, are there any questions as a new owner that you have about the future? Anything about the league that's hazy or confusing to you that you kind of want to air? Um, any information that we could pass along to you?
And let's see here.
All
I
right, and
mean,
you
just
will you will be around for Madden 18, right?
oh yeah, I'd definitely be around for that.
Okay.
I mean, hell, I'll be around for season 6 if we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Um,
Good.
I mean,
Good to
even
hear.
if it's like 10, 15 players, I'll still
Yeah.
roll.
All right. Good.
Um, but yeah, as far as right now, I mean, I kind of like how things are flowing.
All right.
I kind of like how things are flowing.
All right. All right. Well, let's.
Well, good deal, man. If a lot of people, I mean, people, you get a lot of flack, like everybody says, but at the end of the day,
Oh
man,
man, that's cool.
what
That's
I want you to understand, dude, is that number one, we're glad to have you, but number two, a lot of these dudes who are good right now and are talking junk when they first joined the league were in the exact same situation you were in. So stick with it, man, and
yeah.
that it'll turn around.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Rookies got to carry the donuts, all that good stuff. So I don't
Yeah.
mind doing that, man. I don't mind getting, bringing home donuts every now and then. But 18 is gonna be for real. So I appreciate y'all. What I'm saying, I'm still keep talking junk. So just come on with it,
All right.
and
Well, your
I'm gonna
next
keep
game
rolling.
is up against Pittsburgh. Then I think you got Cleveland and Detroit. So are the playoffs still in your sight line? I mean, do you see that as possible?
I definitely see the playoffs as possible. I really feel like my next three
Mm-hmm.
games are winnable games.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I feel like if I can put some heat on Bryant and Brown, I might can slow squirrel down a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's in a
So,
battle right now with Miami. That game is 17-17 in the fourth quarter.
Ooh,
Pittsburgh
man.
was, yeah, tough game there against those Dolphins. If you ever do any close up, if you start to look at Pittsburgh's helmets, they got one guy with a white cleat and a black cleat. They've got probably the best equipment manager in the league. I don't know if you did you twitch your game, Mind in Mind tonight? Was that game on television?
actually, I did it on YouTube. For some reason,
Okay.
I'm still having this Twitch issue on my PlayStation 4. We were talking about
Okay.
that earlier.
All right. Yeah, man, I'm looking at your schedule here and I'm saying, is this possible? I know there's some Vegas gambling going on about how many wins you're going to get, but I see
Oh,
Pittsburgh, I see Cleveland, I see Detroit, then I see Minnesota, and you
that's
got
a
you
good
got
bye week.
yeah, yeah, then you got then is Minnesota the bye week? Is that what you're trying to say?
No,
Is
no,
that
well, I'm saying, well, no, I ain't even gonna start it. Don't, don't even antagonize
Too late
that. Don't
now.
even do that. Yeah, but
Yeah, it's
yeah, I mean,
possible.
I feel like my schedule looks pretty good. No slight, but I do feel like it's pretty good for a nice playoff run. But Monk, you will get paid.
Hey, man,
All right.
I'm the one out there with the
Print that.
confidence, man, with the confidence.
Oh, oh, he
I
said
Hey,
print it.
like
He said
like like
print
like my
it.
boy Dabo said, print that.
No doubt.
Oh, he said print that. All
We
right.
root for
All right.
Jacksonville over here, brother.
All right.
Okay. All right. That's all I got, Monk. You got anything for our GM?
I don't, man. Thanks for joining us, and good luck going forward,
Yeah.
man. Shut these
Yeah,
haters up.
appreciate that, fellas. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome,
Signing
man. And we'll
off.
we'll be watching. All right, Monk. Let's close out the show.
Gurley is hurt.
Because yeah, he's hurt, right? So
We
he's
don't have any
normally
awards yet.
I think might be either week or if I recall. I was looking at that earlier today. Let me just take a quick look. Who's leading the league in rushing? And yeah, Ezekiel Elliott with 86 carries, and he's ahead of Keith Marshall on Tennessee and Melvin Gordon third. So new names there. Zeke was up for year one. I know he got a lot of carries. Um,
Yeah,
receiving. Yeah.
receiving. It looks like I know. It looks like Todd and Foley and Renegade's quarterback are all out there trying to break all kinds of passing records, man. And dudes are not trying to run
Yeah.
the ball right now. They are slinging that thing.
Yeah, it would be nice if we could keep these, archive these passing records, because I know, a lot of people were talking about the length of the game, and we're going to have a commissioners meeting at the end to kind of talk about changes for Madden 18. And I know it's
Yeah.
a little early, but a lot of folks are making recommendations. And
Well, there is a on Daddy Leagues. There is a record book. The only problem with that record book for this game is that we did not have Daddy Leagues for the first season, so
oh,
we
that's right.
cannot. We don't know if those records were. We don't have any records that were set for that season, but we do have the records for seasons 1 through I mean 2 through 5.
2 through 5. Yeah, yeah. Okay, no, that's fine. I mean, kind of know what happened, I believe. Um,
But the
but
game
yeah, I think.
actually stores the good thing about Daddy Leagues is that it stores the records for users. You have the record, the NFL records inside the game that do have the season 1 records, but those are also career records. So it includes like Peyton Manning leading the pass yards with 71,000 careers or whatever. But the single season
Mhm,
records that are in there that have been broken are actually kept. So
mhm.
like you can see that and not to go back to the Venice topic, but like Stafford is like
Yeah.
the highest user with like 5,175 yards, which hasn't broken the NFL record. Past TD's record hasn't even been close to being broken. Stafford had
Mhm.
45 TDs, rushing yards. No one's rushed for. You know what's pretty indicative, I think, of the fact that these minutes are good. No one has rushed for 2,000 yards.
I think the highest was 1,800. Was
Yeah,
1,800 the
yeah.
highest?
We haven't
Yeah.
had not a single 2,000 yard rusher. We have no one who has rushed for more than 1883, which would get you on the single season record book. Um, now the rush TD records have been destroyed. Conrad
Mhm.
and this dude for the Dolphins, whose names I will not say any Dolphins players' names, has had 29 plus TDs. And then
Uh,
Julio in season 1 broke the receiving yard record, but he only broke it by 20 yards. So
mhm.
these records are holding up, man. So I mean, it's
Yeah.
I think we're getting some good stats.
Yeah, you're right, because when I looked at the rushing, I don't even see any of our players for this season in that list.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't
So
even
that,
had anybody break the sacks record. Like the sack, we don't have anybody on the sacks chart. We haven't had anybody. Well, I take that back. Brandon Get Graham with the Eagles had 21 sacks, which is
yeah, that's right.
which is
Yeah.
way down the list though. Like that's still not in the top
Yeah.
10. So
Yeah, that's true. Interceptions, let's see. The
Tyrann
Honey
Matthew
Badgers.
tied the record in
Yeah.
2017.
Was that Gabe? No, I don't know.
Yeah, that was Gabe. That was Gabe.
That
He had the
was
Cardinals
Gabe,
then.
yeah.
I mean, it might
Yeah.
not have been Gabe. It might have been AI Honey Badger. I mean, he is the best safety on the
Yeah.
game. And then
Yeah, that's true.
Kenny's boy Southward has 13, so he's second. Now, you want to talk about bum beast? That guy is the ultimate bum beast.
Oh, but wait a minute. Let's go to look at receiving yards. Go to receiving yards. We are seeing some record was broken there.
Yeah, that was just Julio, man. I
That
mean,
was almost 2,000 yards for
I mean,
Julio Jones, man.
Julio could have had 2,000 that year, but we thought we were pushing into this Super Bowl run, so we wanted to keep him healthy, and then this other team that
Yeah.
we played kind of wouldn't allow us to do that. So
Oh man, yeah, it seems like just yesterday. Yeah, yeah,
eons ago,
yeah.
eons
Long
ago,
time
we
ago.
can't even get back to the game no more, man. It's sad.
Yeah, yeah. I'm starting to wonder, wondering about that myself. But yeah, I'm looking at that and I see that was Megatron. He beat Megatron there, and Coleman from the Browns is up here
That was
with
last year,
1,900. Yeah, that was last season. And Julio Jones is here again,
but
but that's real life
that's real
though.
life Julio Jones.
Yeah. Oh, Hopkins is here. Wow.
There's
And I don't.
AJ Diaz for the Patriots is right there, 1837.
Yeah, that dude is a beast on the
I have not
Patriots.
had a chance to play him since he's gotten that guy. Doug Baldwin's there. That's the real. That's the Doug Baldwin on the game too. So I mean, they're in there, but
Yeah.
it's not a situation. I mean, it's realistic. Like it's not. You don't see some
Yeah.
record where they're 700 or 800 yards over the record in any of these.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, this is you're right. This is good to see. And I'm looking at catches. The
no
record
one
is
will ever break
100,
the catches record.
143 from one
Yeah,
person. That's crazy.
I doubt
That's
we've ever
crazy.
had anyone have more than 100 catches in a
Yeah.
franchise. Just because catches things like catches and rush attempts are things that you're just not gonna be able to break in a 7 minute game. Like you got to play a realistic game length to break
Yeah.
those records. So yeah,
Man,
and
it's
tackles like no one will ever break like a tackle record or anything like that because you just don't get enough tackles. But anyway, I mean it's working out pretty well. I haven't seen the scores and the stats are all working out well. So I know people may think the game is long, but I challenge people to break these records
mm,
to prove that it shouldn't be 7 minutes.
nah, the game feels perfect. It feels full. I mean, a guy could even hold the ball the whole first quarter, and you still have many opportunities to get back in that game. And it seems perfect. So good stuff there. And the statistics prove it out because imagine if they were less, that would be 4 less minutes, and a lot of these stats would not even be close.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
good deal, man. Again, it's
All
great.
right, man.
Always great to have a show. Probably should do a little more often.
Yeah, we're gonna get Ratchet for the next show. I'm gonna try to book the champion Renegade as well. Try to get the champs on the call, maybe Lons, and before the season ends, before Madden 17 closes down. Well,
Good
thanks,
deal.
Kamish.
As always, enjoyed it. This
All right,
Dolphins
man.
Pittsburgh game seems to be going down to the burner, but we'll see what happens with that. All right, man.